Well, good morning. Thanks for coming. We're actually we're kind of balanced here. Obviously we got a big project getting ready to start here in Saline, literally any day. For our communications, Riley, if you could start off and just kind of introduce yourself.
My name's Riley Hollenbaugh. I'm the Executive Director of Saline Main Street.
I'm Terry Seibo-Koenig. I'm the Event and Special Projects Coordinator at the Chamber.
Kathy Korfman, Business Ambassador at the City of Saline.
Chris Junk, I'm the Web Manager, Social Media guy.
Jeff Fordyce, I'm the Director of Public Works.
Gary Roble, City Engineer.
Great. And so we also, I think that's, and then Scott Graydon, our school superintendent, is also on our communications team. And he thought he was going to try and stop by, so he may, I don't know if he'll poke his head in or not. But so Mayor, do you have a moment?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Just so you can so it's being recorded. Yep.
Well, thank you, Todd. I appreciate it very much. My friends, I'm going to be brief because I've got a tight schedule today, but I want to thank you all for coming. It means a lot. This is an important project, and projects of this size and magnitude have an impact on the community, both short-term and long-term. And there are going to be some inherent hardships and challenges, but we're going to get through it, working with our community partners and with MDOT. And I think at the end of this, we are going to have a streetscape and a road that served this community well for decades to come, and that's what's important. There's a lot of good material here. The communications team and staff have worked very hard to provide you with pertinent, detailed information. One of the things that I'm doing on a routine basis when I talk to people about this project is really to encourage our citizens, our residents, to continue to come downtown during the construction. We've got some really iconic, important, unique businesses, and they need to be supported. I guess I'll just sort of leave it at that. Again, this is an important project. The city's worked really hard on this, and I think that when it's completed, again, it's going to be we're going to have a downtown streetscape and a road that serve us well for decades to come. I want to thank you again for your time. I regret that I have to leave, but I know that if you have questions and concerns, staff will be able to address those. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it. Yep. So, real quick, apologize. The reason for this is I'm having a hard time with the FAM, the lingo, but the media tour, the familiarity media tour. I think it's a great idea. This was brought to us from Rochester. They did it a couple years ago in 2012, right? I believe, Riley. So they did a similar project in 12, and I've been blessed enough to be in 2 other communities before this to do essentially the same project. And so, while yes, it's going to have plenty of headaches and frustration, but at the end of the day, it's going to be an incredible win for the city, for the community. So looking forward to that, and not only that, but it gives an opportunity for the community to come together and work together, because as you'll hear us talk about throughout this program, human nature is when you see a construction, the first thing you think about is, well, I'll come back later. When the construction is done, then I'll come back. Well, the problem is I think most of us know, if too many of us do that, some of those businesses won't be there. And so we are pushing hard, and we'll get into that a little bit with this construction theme, Pay It Forward, for instance, again, to encourage people to come down, let them know, get that information out that they need to come down. And also, the other thing I've found over these projects is, while people may not be happy with the construction, if you keep them informed, they're more accepting of it, and they get through it, and it just ends up being a much better project. So, so having said that, so the reasons for this is to educate you all, the media on our project, and to ask you to help us inform the public, to keep the public informed. And so that's our biggest thing. I'm going to try and fly through this a little bit, so we don't want to hold you up, and we can get out and do a quick walking tour and just enjoy some beautiful weather. If you have any questions, feel free, but you do have a copy of the PowerPoint in your folder, so a reference. And for our team here, if I'm missing anything, feel free to say, hey, So obviously, here we are today. Anyway, so these are the project limits, the parameters. It's point of beginning down at the east edge of the bridge deck, at the dam at Mill Pond. Oops. Then obviously it's going to travel eastward all the way to the intersection, just beyond east, probably 7,500 feet east of the intersection of Maple and Old Creek in Michigan. Project, we complete reconstruction, pavement, subbase. There's going to be holes in it because I know there's some soil issues. There's going to be someplace we're going to do about a 5-foot cut, pretty deep. We also have stormwater, water main, sanitary sewers, so utilities, improvements, upgrades. The water main is 100 years old this year. So we'll see if it looks like when they start removing the pavement, we'll see if it looks like one of those sulfur hoses, you know, by the end. So we'll see what happens. Streetscaping, landscaping, we'll get a little more detail of that. Typically speaking, your street trees, your landscape, about 25 to 30 years is about the length of those, the life of those. So that's where we're at. About 1986 is the last time Saline did those major improvements. We're going to see some non-motorized paths put in. MDOT's partnering with us, and so I can't say enough thanks to MDOT. Not only are they partnering on the design, but when we applied for the enhancement dollars, we got a little over $500,000 enhancement grant for our streetscape. We put in 20%, MDOT put in 20%. So we're very excited. They're also putting in, you can see this is looking eastward on the south side, and that's our temporary sidewalk that we put in a number of years ago now, because when this project on the corner kind of fell through and collapsed and wasn't finished. So, but they're going to put a non-motorized pathway from Curtis Park all the way up to just west of Benny's. So we're excited about that as well. Pedestrian lighting, so we have the decorative lighting. You see some examples of the city owns all the decorative light posts downtown. We're going to remove those, have them rehabbed, powder coated, painted, put back up new globes on top, LEDs, but we're also going to extend throughout from point of beginning to point of end of the project. We're going to put in brand new decorative pedestrian poles, light poles that will match these as well. So excited about that. Some traffic calming elements. That's a big thing, right? We're downtown. We're a state trunk line. Got to move cars, but we also want people to feel safe. A lot of, if anybody that doesn't know, there's been a lot of near misses over the years of crossing Michigan Ave. There's been a few people that were hit, pedestrians. We're trying to make it much safer and slow down, so we'll see some of those elements here in a moment. Improving the signal, traffic signal modernization, signing pavement markings, and the like. So here's the description of features. You can see there's going to be a small island on the west side of the main core. So this is Ann Arbor and Michigan Ave. So of course this is north this way. On the west side, a small island. Right now, we will not have we'd hope to have a mid-block crosswalk, but because there's nothing here right now in this big open area, this lot, MDOT said, well, if you had something there, sure, but since you're not, they're not going to allow us to put a mid-block crosswalk, but at such time we do, then they'll reconsider that. This one is a little larger island on the east side of the main four, has a mid-block crosswalk right here. You will no longer be able to take a left turn into Hall Street right here, but Hall Street's one way to the north anyway. But so there are some changes, but right here at Harris Street, which is just right out this window by the fire department, you will currently, for the last several years, you've not been able to turn left. There will be a dedicated left turn lane, not a signal, but a lane. And you will now, once this project is over, you'll be able to make left turns there. And there'll also be a dedicated left turn lane on the west side at Lewis Street. Another big change, this is on the west end. So this is the bridge deck here, the dam. So this is Mills, that goes to the north. Right now, this is Monroe. There's a light right here, traffic signal here. And as you head west, there's a lane drop right here at the entrance into Curtis Park. And people kind of jockey, right? They think they're they think they're on their way to NASCAR or something, and they want to try and see who gets there first. Well, we're actually going to do that lane drop. That lane drop's going to start right here after this light. There'll be a right turn lane here to go to Mills, but they're going to drop that lane right here in this transition area. See this island right here, another island, traffic island with a mid-block crosswalk, if you will, almost, to help people get from north to the south or south to the north. And they're also another great partnership with them that they're going to install a sidewalk right here on the north side for us all the way to the dam. So people say, well, where's it going to go? Well, at least it's a first phase completed. So we're excited about that. Additional on-street parking. So this is the on the west side. This is where we talked about that the vacant lot. There used to be parking there, but because of we had to put that temporary path through there, the sidewalk, that's gone away officially. But now we're going to put that back. And then also down here in front of Comerica, where it's a little bit wider right in there, we're going to have additional on-street parking there. Just some details. So $1 million with the enhancement work. Construction 2016. Actually, we just got some exciting news this weekend. They officially awarded the project. MDOT did this late Friday. So we're planning at some point to have a pre-construction meeting this week. And so either late this week or first of next week, contractor should start. So things are starting to move. Then end of substantial completion, end of October. End construction 2016, November, and then come back in next spring of 17 to do some minor items. But track will be restored and should be by the, again, end of October. And the other thing is, this is an incentivized project by MDOT, meaning that if they finish ahead of schedule, they get a bonus payment for up to, I think it's 10 days worth. And then conversely, if they're late, they get penalized X amount every day they're late. As I mentioned, the $500,000 enhancement grant that the city was awarded. This is a cross section here of what it's going to look like. We'll have this is with the islands, but and the islands in the course where the center turn lane would be. There'll still be enough queuing. You know, the center turn lanes will be long enough for the different left turn queues. But you can see that we're still going to have on-street parking both sides and 2 lanes of traffic each way. And then here's the landscape island. And this is without, of course, just your left center turn lane. Some of these, the improved intersections, again, part of the traffic calming features. At the intersections at Ann Arbor, Lewis, and Harris, you're going to see this special treatment where it's colored concrete in the middle, and then of course this is going to be concrete crosswalks, different color stamped concrete. Those will be different colors, and that helps mentally when you're coming down a corridor and you just automatically don't think about it, but you do slow down. Let's see what else. Certainly, these are our current sidewalks and trees. This is the new. We'll have new sidewalks and brickwork. And of course, it will be the old trees will come out and new trees will go back in. This is along. This is a corner at Michigan and Ann Arbor on Michigan. This would be, I guess, right there by Dan's and Pineapple House. Another thing I'm excited about are these raised planter beds. These are also, they double as seating for events or for just, taking a rest and hanging out. But also, again, those structures, there's going to be one at each of the main four. Again, traffic calm. When you see those structures. Here's the big work on Ann Arbor. Talked about the lights. So those orange dots are So you have your, at the dam here, and at the end here at Maple and Oak Creek. These are the items we worked. The other thing I don't want to forget, again, a great partnership. We had a staff internal work group design team that we had folks from Main Street, city staff. This is my mind. I can't remember. I don't think you or John were. So, or Art, because this was before. I think this was before John. So. And actually a council member or two, and we made this recommendation, and also the design team of Main Street, they came through and they had a recommendation to the team as well, and then we met and came up with a agreed upon proposal to the city council, and this is what they approved. So you can see our types of benches, the trash and receptacles, tree grates, and these will be bike posts or bike racks. And this is just a quick, so on Michigan Ave, this will be the pattern, the brick pattern. You'll see a sidewalk. Ann Arbor, it's a little bit different just because it's narrow on North Ann Arbor. We have that on the west side, we have the double step or double curb. And when you try to do this with the different colors, they were so narrow, they looked kind of like stripes. It kind of looked like a zebra. So this is the compromise we came up with. So again, decorative lights. So this could be essentially the version of this very similar globe or head that's on it now, but it's going to be LED. Of course, the big question, right, that people want is they want to know when the project's going to start and when's the detour going to go into effect. And so here's our detour, which we, as anybody that's any slightly familiar with Saline, we don't really have a lot of options. Or I don't know if we have any options, so I think just one. But so Henry Street, well, let me back up. So, westbound traffic on Michigan Ave will continue on Michigan Ave the entire project. They're going to do a partial width completion, meaning they're going to do half of it. So the south half, I'm not positive, but I think it's going to be the south half that they're going to start, I think. But we'll find out that for sure here this week at a pre-construction meeting. So then when the south side is done, they'll flip over the north side, and then that westbound traffic will then flip to the south side. And then eastbound traffic, so this is Michigan here, and this is the intersection of Monroe Street. They're gonna, if you're eastbound, you're gonna have to take a right at the light at Monroe, be one way for a block. The first block here down to Henry Street, West Henry, and then you're gonna turn left and go east, of course. So this first block of West Henry from Monroe to Lewis is gonna be one way just east. And then it's going to be from Lewis all the way to Old Creek will be two-way traffic. There'll be temporary signals at Ann Arbor, at Harris, then at Old Creek. And then once you get to Old Creek, it'll bring you back up to Michigan Ave and on your way. There will be a time, as you may recall, I mentioned that this intersection is part of that, the Maple and Oak Creek intersection of Michigan right here. They're gonna have to rebuild that. When they're rebuilding that, obviously they won't be able to come up Oak Creek, but they're gonna go down to south, take Bemis, because it changes names from Henry to Bemis right here at this intersection of Oak Creek. And you're gonna go down a little bit to South Industrial, and that'll bring you up to Michigan. Some other great things is because it's official detour route, when it's done, MDOT's going to come through and redo Henry Street for us. So that's a good trade-off. Talk about this little oversized speed limit signs. You'll also see an increased, as you might expect, you'll see an increased police presence, and then actually MDOT will be paying for a portion of that at least. So you'll see extra folks, because that's obviously Henry Street is right in the middle of our residential area, and we want to keep folks safe. And unfortunately, people get frustrated and sometimes tend to drive fast or erratically, and we don't want anything bad to happen. there's gonna be advanced, I believe they're already up, but maybe not turned on yet, but there's some message boards out of 52, and I think maybe at 23, different locations, encouraging trucks, especially semis, legal-sized semis will be permitted, because federally funded road not allow them. However, the oversized loads will not be permitted. So that'll be a good thing. And then another thing with our historic buildings downtown, as well as some historic houses along Henry Street, the vibrations and such, right? We want to be cautious of that. So MDOT, again, great partner, they specifically put it in the specifications for the, when they bid it out. They have to, I don't know all the terminology, but basically you've got to use the least amount. You can't just go in and rip and tear. Because they want to obviously not damage any of the historical buildings. And MDOT typically does this anyway, where they videotape the site conditions and such. So if somebody says, well, my sidewalk wasn't broken before the project, well, you broke it, and so then you can see, well, this is what it looked like before the project. So they're actually offering, of course, obviously private property owners need to give permission, but they would go through and videotape the inside and out. So if there is a discrepancy, they could go back and view the video, and then hopefully overbid them. So if the contractor does cause damage, then they of course are liable